Hello, Canada and hockey fans in the United States and Newfoundland.
When it comes to Canadians, ice hockey has always been their favorite pastime. Although Toronto's beloved team, the Maple Leafs, have not won a Stanley Cup since 1967, fans have stood by them because of their love for the nation's game. However, with the growing diverse population, the game of ice hockey faces an uncertain future, with so many ethnic groups immigrating to Toronto, bringing with them the love for their own national sport. Ice hockey is beginning to lose its appeal, and one of the many reasons why immigrants have failed to take up the sport has been the cost to get involved to play the game. Many have taken up ball hockey as an affordable means to play the sport.
One of the biggest reasons I believe that's happened is because of the cost. The rising cost of ice hockey to not only just rent the rink surface, but a lot of the equipment that's involved in the sport of ice hockey has pretty much made it difficult for immigrants to afford to play it. So the next best thing, which has kind of like a basketball type feel to it, you know, you get a ball and a stick, go out on the street, maybe 2 nets, a goalie with, you know, sofa pads tied to their legs. It's the most easiest and the most affordable method of playing hockey. And that's probably the key reason that they went to that, they play street hockey, because they're born and raised here, and if they're not born here, they're raised in communities where street hockey is being played, and they like the fast and furious action. They like the excitement level of it, and it's a main thing is, even though they come from places like India, Pakistan, Middle Eastern countries, or African nations, it's the most Canadian thing to do. You know, if you look at this type of tournament right now, it's a Muslim hockey tournament. They're called the Salam Cup Ball Hockey Tournament. This is our 5th annual tournament that we're holding. It has 12 teams, on average about 18 to 20 players. So you're looking at close to 230 players that are here. And in the Muslim, obviously in the Islamic religion, you know, we want to be Canadian, obviously, but we cannot. Alcohol is forbidden in our religion, so we can't drink beer. So the next best Canadian thing to do is play hockey. But of course, ice hockey, you know, it requires a lot of, you know, not only that, the registration fees, you got to learn how to skate. Equipment's costs are going up and up. So it's really tough for some of these communities to afford to play. So that's why they resort to this type of sport, where it's the most easiest and most affordable to do so.
I've been in this country for over 35 years now, and when I came as a kid, I loved the game of hockey, but my parents just couldn't afford to buy skates and all the equipment and play in that league. So me and my friends, we were in the same situation. That's all we did. We had a tennis ball, a net, and that's what we played. The problem with ice hockey is very costly. You know, skates are like $200, all the equipment. So it's very expensive for parents to pay for that kind of equipment to put their kids in ice hockey. Ball hockey is a lot easier. All you use a ball and a stick, and you can have a game. So that's the reason why a lot of kids are turning to ball hockey as opposed to ice hockey.
Over the last 12 years, the growth is so tremendous. When I tried to figure out exactly why new immigrants are coming into this country and finding soccer to be one of their, having passion for the sport, it's because one, it's very reasonably priced. Like our league charges $50 per player. So could you imagine such an exciting all-long summer at such reasonable price? So for cost is one of the key factors. Secondly, the introduction of a sport that will keep them physically, they are running in the open air. It's an excellent sport, an exciting sport for the summertime. But also that one of the reasons is that soccer is a very easy sport to learn. It's a very easy sport to play. So kids don't find it very threatening and challenging for them. And when they get into it, they find that they are progressing very well. So if you're doing good at something, you'll continue doing it. And that's why we have kids that started from 12 years ago and still now graduating and moving on in university and playing soccer.
Cricket and soccer are two sports that immigrants have brought over, and within a short time span, they've been able to not only attract their own people, but also Canadian-born citizens. These games are flourishing because of their low cost, minimal equipment, and their outdoor sports. With diversity growing in Toronto, the government has recognized that there's a niche for these sports and have started to invest in them.
And in Canada, its resurgence, I think, is mainly because of a lot of people that have played cricket before have immigrated to Canada. A lot of people from cricket-playing nations, the ex-British Commonwealth, so as to speak, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Caribbean, Australia, England. But with cricket, I mean, it started from most like amateur sport in Canada, and it's slowly getting professional. This year, it's the first time that Cricket Canada has offered contracts to the players playing for Canada. So they're putting them on contracts, and previously you had to basically work your own job, take holidays from work to go play for Canada. So it's nice to see that system coming in place.
The TND Cricket Canada is doing is try and get into the schools, not only for the immigrant population, but born Canadian, people who were born here or are born here. They want to get them involved in the sports. And for the first time over the past few years, Canada has been internationally recognized by the ICC and other cricketing countries. And over the past few years too, you have had international teams come to Canada.
Many times people ask questions, why new immigrants are not taking part in certain things? It's very simple. If something is new to you, you're not aware of it, you're not familiar with it, it's difficult for you to participate in. So we need to strategically introduce hockey from the school levels in the community schools like we did in cricket. Cricket now is being introduced in public schools. So it's a sport that's going to take into the mainstream.
The future of ice hockey will depend on what the nation will do to entice the population to keep the national sport alive. Ice hockey has seen a drop in enrollment in Toronto. It will depend more than ever on the future generations of these immigrants to revive ice hockey by incorporating them into the game on all levels. The growth of tomorrow will depend on the immigrants of today.
The more people play ball hockey, even little kids see, their brothers playing ball hockey and stuff, it might get them more interested into ice hockey. And if you get one or two kids who start getting good, perhaps making it close to the NHL or making the NHL, like Nazem Kadri, for example, it's going to add more interest for these players to actually play ice hockey, I think. So, I mean, yes and no. Obviously, people are going to play other sports, but to be honest, I think it's only going to take one or two good Muslim players or Pakistani players who are successful to add more interest in ice hockey. So it's like catch-22, you might have less people playing, but you get that one or two people who are playing, and it could be a whole different story. It might add a lot of fervor and a lot of interest to people.
What I see as the most valuable thing is that the associations have to introduce hockey to the different various communities, and they have to make it more accessible. The ice rinks have to be accessible to the schools, the community schools, for skating. Once you introduce that to them, then it will become more appealing, and the generations to come will certainly participate in ice hockey.
Like a lot of the second generation, third generation, families that have been residing here in the country for many, many years, who have established themselves. They're in professional fields, who are making a living that is in a higher income bracket. They're probably the ones that can be able to afford to put them in their kids in ice hockey, and it's happening. It's already started. Immigrants who their children and their children's children are already enrolled in the sport.
I would say that, like in our league, all of the coaches are from within our community who have some experience with soccer. So if you look at ice hockey, we find that most of our immigrants, especially the ones who have grown up here and gone through school, those leagues have to bring those new immigrants who have gone through school and can skate into hockey, into ice hockey, and then they can introduce it to our kids. So I would say within the next generation, we probably will have more immigrants into ice hockey, but they have to open the doors for the coaches within the various communities to be more active in the organization.